with your blockchain. And in February, actually, we released a new patch update, but it's actually a major update because we completely redesigned and rebuilt the web template. So from the very beginning, Starport was not only about building blockchains, because we understand that it's never about building it's never about building just the blockchain, right? It's about building the whole ecosystem and allowing people to interact with your decentralized application. So it's very important to provide the tools for people to build web apps, mobile apps, and we're going to be talking about this today. So if you haven't tried Starport, I recommend installing it. Just takes one command on starport.com. You can see the link. Just copy and paste in your terminal and you're good to go. You can also visit the GitHub repo. Everything, of course, is open source and you can read more. We have documentation at docs.starport.com. You can read that as well. Great set of tutorials. And yeah, so what we've done in the recent past is released a new version, a couple of new versions. One I mentioned included the new view template, so the redesigned web application, and the recent version introduced some changes as well, so fixes as well as support for Go 1.18, and we've shipped some improvements to the template. Recently, we also introduced a bounty program, and we're going to be talking about this as well. So yeah, without further ado, I want to give the mic to Ilker, who's leading development on the CLI, to talk about the bounty program.
Hey everyone, let me share my screen. Thank you all for joining the call. I hope you guys see my screen right now. Yeah, in Starport CLI, like we have a lot of features and a lot of more coming, and we have a lot of issues for this, and we really love our community, and we believe, I mean, we're a community-driven organization also, and we really like people to actually make contributions to Starport CLI. And that's why we wanted to start a bounty program through our Discord. And here, like if you check out so if you are like a developer and if you want to contribute to Starport CLI, like please take a look at this bounty program. I mean, you may even like enjoy contributing to the CLI. We do very crazy stuff to make things easier about building chains, and like if you want to be a part of this, if you want to add more features or fix some bugs, this is a place that you definitely should look for. So basically, please go to our Discord and check out this bounty channel we have here. And when you go here, like you will see this pinned message. I mean, this message is about like how it explains how this bounty program actually works. And you will see all the details here after you read this message. And here we basically in this channel post some bounties. I mean, by mean like bounties, it's a fancy word for saying issues we have on our GitHub repository. So basically we convert some of our issues to bounties and we post them here in this channel. And anyone who is interested to working on specific bounty, or you can call it issue, you can like just browse these bounties here, and if you're interested, please for example create a thread. So this is one of the bounties we had before. Gjermund take this actually, and he done a pretty good job, and it's very good. So for example, to take a bounty, to participate in a bounty, you basically create a thread in the related bounty message. By clicking here, you will see, let's see, you see this button, right, icon, or I think it's here, yeah. You basically create a new thread from this menu, and for example, this one, Gjermund actually interested in this bounty, and what you do is basically you explain about yourself a little bit, and you explain, like how you actually want to approach to solve this problem, and among all the other, participants, we fairly choose one and give this specific issue to the person. I mean, if you are like the first responder, you have very high chance to get in one bounty, and we always post bounties here. So I believe if you want to work on CLI, improve and add more features, like definitely you will be able to take issues here. I mean, it's open, and yeah, we'll be posting more, and everyone can take bounties as much as they want to. And yeah, for this one, for example, let's see, there's a issue associated with this bounty, right? So you basically read the bounty, like if it makes sense for you, then you probably want to go to this page here, the GitHub page we have for this. For example, this bounty is about enabling code generation for query-only models. And we have a description about what needs to be done, what needs to be implemented. And here you basically need to check, and after reading all these, and if it still makes sense for you to contribute on that, you just put a message here that you are interested in the bounty, and we will give that one to you. And yeah, once you finish like implementing the feature or fixing the bug described here, you basically create a pull request, and you associate that pull request with the issue, and we will be reviewing the PR and probably ask some for tweaks after you make a review, and in the end that your PR will be merged and your prize will be sent to your Cosmos address. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And if you see some issues, we have a lot of issues, but not all of them are like labeled as bounty. So if you like see an issue here, but it is not a bounty, you can still ask for us to, can you please turn this issue to a bounty? I want to participate on this. We can also do that. You don't actually need to necessarily wait for us to post a bounty. You can also ask for us to turn an issue to a bounty, and that's also very helpful for us. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, so before you start to implement actually a feature or fixing a bug, you probably want to go check out the Starport repository and see how it is actually constructed, right? And I just want to give a quick introduction about how you should actually start educating yourself about the code base. So basically, when you go to the Starport repository, there is this Starport directory in the root. This is where all source codes are kept inside. Basically, go to the directory, Starport directory, and you'll see a bunch of packages here. In the CMD package, we have, Starport CLI is a product where we have a lot of commands inside, because that's what we do. It's a tool for developers, and we have a lot of commands under this tool. So this is like the main functionality of Starport CLI. You'll see a lot of commands here, and let's see one of them. For example, let's see the chain serve command. So when you run Starport chain serve command, this is the entry point for this command. Actually, as you see, we have the command definition, and we have the handler for the command, and we don't have like application logic related stuff inside the CMD package. It is like more like a client. We always put business logic inside the services package. So let's go CMD again, and let's go one level up, and you will see this services package. So this is the place where you are gonna mostly working on. If you are like working chain related commands, this is the folder for it. Network commands and scaffolding related commands. So it's like in their respective places. So for Starport chain serve, you probably want to use the chain service, and here you see the source code, the business logic for serve. And you probably want to change here if your bounty is about adding something to the chain command or fixing something inside the chain command. So yeah, and also we have this package. This is the place where we put utility-like packages. I mean, we have a nice abstraction in the code base. We would like to, like put the logic related, I mean, not specifically related to the business logic of Starport CLI to this generic place, so they can be reused by everyone and also reused among other services we have inside this services directory I just showed you, or inside the CMD package. So this is like a, like general place where we put utility packages. And Cosmos Gen, for example, is for making code generation. So like if you generate a JavaScript client by using Starport CLI, it will be actually using this generic Cosmos Gen package. And yeah, I mean, you can even import this package in your own application and do code generation without actually touching the Starport CLI commands. So yeah, it's pretty useful. Yeah, I mean, and also, yeah, all source code inside the Starport directory, but we have a bunch of other directories. We have scripts, we have integration tests, we have documentation. So like all the non-business logic or stuff that are not directly related to the code part stays in the root directory like this, like GitHub Actions, workflows, and things like that. So yeah, this is pretty much it. Yeah, please check our Discord, check the bounty channel, and if you're interested in one of the bounties, post it there. Like don't hesitate to take the ownership of the bounty, or you can browse the issues here, and you can pick one of the issues and ask us to turn this issue to a bounty, and then you can start working on it. And yeah, check out our contribution guideline here, and we also have a code of conduct, and check out README. Yeah, I hope you guys are interested in this. We are very happy to accept contributions from our community. And yeah, one of our the first our bounty participant is Gjermund. He took the part related to improving the code generation, and he done like outstanding work. It's very good. Like if you check our latest release, his contribution is actually in our latest release. I mean, in this release, we basically enable doing code generation for query-only models, which means you can use models like TX to actually broadcast a transaction. I mean, the TX one doesn't have any messages, so it's a query-only model. So models like this in the SDK now have support for code generation, and you can query these models directly by using the generated code. And thanks to Gjermund for this. And Gjermund, if you wanna talk about your experience, or if you wanna walk through everyone about how they can actually participate, it would be actually great. I just wanna give the part to Gjermund now. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it was very fun to get started on this. Yeah, I guess just very briefly about me. My name is Gjermund from Norway. I work as a CTO at a Norwegian startup called Empower, and that's kind of how I got into this as well. Is we're building a new Cosmos-based chain now, and Starport obviously came up very quickly as like an almost necessary tool, I'd say, to really do that efficiently. And as part of that, I mean, personally, I'm a big believer in open source and always wanted to contribute more to open source than I have in my career. It's been not that much time for it, unfortunately. And yeah, when I saw the bounty program, I realized after reading the bounties and taking a little bit look at the code. I mean, I'd done like Starport tutorials and had a fairly okay grasp of what it did. But what I realized was that it's a very good place to start if you want to get started with contributing to open source, because it's very well structured. Both the bounties to the issues are well structured and have a lot of good documentation in them, and the project itself is well structured. Like you saw, that it's fairly easy to find things, and it's like to understand how, let's say, a certain command works. Like you saw you start in just in the commands CMD folder, and you just follow the line of action, and it's compared to many other projects, I'd say it's very good place to get started, and it's for me it was very useful to both get started in open source and be able to use Go a bit more, since I haven't done that much of it professionally. But so I'd say that's to get started. Just find a bounty that looks interesting. Take a look at the code, see if you can sort of figure out what it's about. And as soon as you sort of have a somewhat grasp of what it is and how to get down and doing something with it, just put in a message, and also the community here is also very helpful. Like the people that work at Tendermint or Ignite and the community at large, it's very easy to get help. I'd say, to understand certain things. But for me it was a very useful experience, and also on my second bounty now. So it's a good place to start. So I would definitely recommend doing this. It's a good, I think, a very good first experience for contributing to open source with all the support and the community and everything. Plus, it's one of the more interesting open source projects in the space. So I definitely would say that. Yeah, I think that's it.
Thank you, Gjermund, for sharing your experience. It's very I mean, it's very great to hear this from you.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Ilker, Gjermund. I think the bounty program is a huge success, and we're hoping to get more contributions in the near future. Right now, let's switch to the other aspect of Starport, which is front end. So as I mentioned recently, we've released a template, but we've been also working on improving code generation. And Arthur is here to talk about this. Arthur is leading development on code generation. And the floor is yours.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. I will share my screen in order to showcase what we are envisioning for the next, so to speak, next iteration of the generated front-end code. So let me see if I'm able to share my screen. Yeah. Let me just rejoin real quick because my Google Meet is buggy lately. 1 second.
In the meantime, a quick reminder that we also have a Flutter template. So if you're into building mobile applications, feel free to check it out. And if you see any areas of improvement, don't hesitate to create issues. We'll be addressing them.
Sorry, guys. Apparently, Google Meet standalone web application is not working for me. Let me try one more time with the browser itself. Yes. Is it maybe because I am lacking permission? I don't think so.
I don't think that should be the case because I think you're a co-host. Let me double check. I mean, if you can do your webcam and also talk, you should be basically able to screen share. Is there a way maybe Dennis
That's
could
unfortunate.
or Ilker could screen share and you could walk it through?
Yeah, I am. I'm trying to.
It did seem like someone else was saying that we were having connective issues. So
No, I think it is on me.
okay.
Can we jump into the next topic, and I will see if I can fix this, please?
And maybe one of the things we didn't add, Dennis, to the agenda, but could be interesting is we talked about the recent release of Starport, but kind of what's in store for the next version of Starport, and maybe your timing or thoughts on the release timeframe from that while Arthur's getting the screen sharing sorted out.
Sure. I mean, yeah, we released a patch. Mostly contained the front end, also some bug fixes. But I would rather, to kind of ease the transition into the front end, I can demo the current template that we have in case people haven't seen it. So that would be useful while Arthur is preparing the screen sharing.
Okay.
So hold on a sec. It looks like we can see the infinity on Arthur's screen. This is what next version of Starport looks like. Infinite number of screens. Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. It worked, but in a poorly way. Let me just give one last shot. I think you guys can. Yes. Hopefully.
Yes, we can see your screen.
I won't touch anything about Google Meet right now. It is working. So I will switch to VS Code. Can you guys see my VS Code? Is my VS Code visible or not?
Yes, we can see VS
Okay.
Code.
Okay, that's nice. I am going to briefly discuss the refactoring that we are on an ongoing development right now. On the left is the current state of the generated front-end code, and on the right of the next iteration of this front-end generated code. Just a fresh, a quick go through what we currently have is basically you have a UI component. This is actually something called composable from Vue world, but you have a UI component, and if you want to interface with your chain using our generated front-end code, you have to rely on these dispatches and getters, meaning basically this is the API from Vuex stores. So we are generating currently, or have been generated Vuex stores, and these Vuex stores serve the purpose of interfacing with your chain, and also alongside saving state, which is not something that is able to provide a nice developer experience, because Vuex is not meant, at least the main goal of a Vuex store is not to be an interface to the outside world, rather just to hold global state. But this is the way we have been doing this until now, and it is working, it works, but we can provide a better way to do it. So just a quick refresh on how these Vuex stores look like. This is a generated Vuex store for the Cosmos Bank module. It is a standard Vuex store holding some state and providing some getters. This is all generated dynamically. And if you want to interface with your chain, for example, query all balances, you have to rely on an API provided by Vuex. So to get data and to change the state of the chain as well, we have to rely on API provided by Vuex, which is not ideal. There are a couple of reasons, major ones and so many minor ones, but let's just say that this is not the ideal way of doing this. So you have a bunch of Vuex generated stores, and they all come together, and we are loading all of them into the template web application that we provide when we scaffold the chain. So this is the current state, and now I'm going to briefly show what we are envisioning for the next iteration. So the overall goal is to make it more powerful and more simple at the same time. So basically generate less code in an more obvious way, so that we can increase developer experience. So switching from a Vuex store, we are generating a simple TypeScript class, and this TypeScript class is on the right side of my screen here. We are generating the same methods or the same APIs, so to speak, to interface with your chain, but now they are inside a TypeScript class. And this TypeScript class is getting a signer, and it is extending another generated code. And this API is basically another part of code that we generate. It is responsible for basically querying anything related to querying from your chain, comes from this TypeScript class called API. And this TypeScript class module is when you want to change the state of your chain. So binding these together in the form of extending them, we provide for every Cosmos module and your own custom modules. We provide a really simple to understand and low footprint way of interfacing with your chain on the front end. So basically, we are moving away from this Vuex store into and going towards this TypeScript class called module, and they all come together. So we import all of them and make them all available through a let's call it main TypeScript class. We are calling this main TypeScript class Ignite, but it is just a get together TypeScript class where every module that we just saw is instantiated, and the signer is attached to them, so they are able to sign transactions. And we are providing a friendly way to sign in and sign out. Yeah, basically it. And this is this is all generated by the Starport CLI. So to consume all of this, we are aiming for an even friendlier way, which is basically a view composable. And this view composable, it is the first time you run this, it creates an instance of the Ignite TypeScript client, By the way, this Ignite instance refers to this main TypeScript class, which is holding all of the module-specific classes. So if you are able to get this instance, then you can do whatever you want. As far as interfacing with your chain is concerned, you have fully typed access to all of the Cosmos modules. And if you have any custom module of yours as well, it would be here, fully typed as well. You are able to sign in, sign out, get the signer, get the address, and metadata, it all is in here. And if you wish to, for example, query all the balances you have in a fully typed, again, fully typed. This is very important because with the Vuex store, we couldn't get the typing right. But now that we are generating using this new approach, everything is fully typed by default. So that's nice, and that's improved overall, not only DX, but also productivity. So we are aiming for just one single line. Well, this is split for making reasons, but what we are aiming for is that our consumers would be able to just access this instance using a single line of code, and that's nice. So that's pretty much it. Just last but not least, let us peek briefly inside this composable. Inside this composable this composable serves the purpose of preparing the Ignite instance. So, and nothing more. So it basically, it is creating here using our also generated create sort of like function creator, instance creator, better said. It is using that function to create an instance. We can also provide metadata, but we have also default ones that are aligned with the default from a freshly scaffolded chain. But yeah, it creates an instance. It also, by the way, this instance also packs a WebSocket client. So you are able to listen for new blocks, for example. And after we have created this instance, we just provide user-friendly way to sign in. Basically, you just have to pass your offline signer, and we will get the remaining info in order to create a signing Stargate client, which is something from Cosmos.js set of libraries. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, that's the new iteration that we are envisioning. We are already using this approach in 2 web applications of ours, and so far so good. More productivity, less chaos inside the code, and for the future, well, just to finish, we are generating a TypeScript client and also a set of Vue composables that basically are a thin layer on top of this TypeScript client core. So everything is cohesive and concise, and also makes the path for the future. Maybe we could even have a version of the Vue composables. We could have React hooks being a thin layer on top of the TypeScript client core, so that we can provide an even nicer way for people implementing stuff with React. But with just the TypeScript client, everybody's going to be able to use these front-end generated code in any front-end technologies. It's agnostic. So this core is meant for everybody, not only for Vue folks. And that's a big step ahead. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
Just one thing, like I would like to add, like to give a general view about all this code generation we make. I mean, you guys can think this like this, you know, like for example, when you use Ethereum, there's a JavaScript library to interact with Ethereum, right? And the smart contracts in Ethereum and all the functionality inside Ethereum. So that library is just for Ethereum, and Ethereum is, for example, a blockchain by itself. And everybody uses the JavaScript API, the JavaScript libraries they provide. But here in the Cosmos ecosystem, there are a lot of chains, and all these chains have different kind of APIs. So there cannot be a single JavaScript library, for example, that covers how to interact. I mean, it covers the APIs that how to interact with all these chains. And your blockchain actually needs to have its own JavaScript library for people to actually interact with your chain, right? And all these blockchains are different, and they have different APIs. So basically, Starport offers you this tool where it actually creates the JavaScript client specialized just for your chain. You just run the generate command, the generate TypeScript command, and this command will basically analyze the source code of your blockchain, and it will understand the functionality, what this blockchain offers in the API level, and it will basically create this JavaScript library just for your blockchain that has APIs related to querying your chain and also doing mutations in your chain by using transactions. So basically, you just want to create this JavaScript client for your chain, and probably you will publish this JavaScript client on npm in a package manager, right? In a registry, and people will download it from there. I mean, people who wants to write applications for your blockchain will get this library from there, and they will just start hacking around. So basically, yeah, this tool offers you to create a JavaScript library just for your chain, and specialized only for your chain.
Awesome. Thanks, Arthur. Thanks, Volker. And it's actually very useful if you're building an app that interacts with multiple chains. So instead of each chain having its own kind of idiosyncratic, unique library, if chains just use Starport to generate their libraries, it's easier to build clients that work with many chains because the APIs are going to be the same. So it's easy to do that. So yeah, let's open for questions. We have 15 more minutes. Okay, question. Could you use this on open source chains that haven't generated these yet? For instance, if you'd want these APIs generated for Stargaze or something. Yeah, it should work. So it's not limited to chains scaffolded with Starport. You might run into bugs, then submit issues, but yeah, it should work. I think we used it for GravityDex for the liquidity module. I mean, it worked for osmosis, but yeah, we need to check. Yeah, it should work because the structure of the as long as the structure of the chain conforms to like the best practices, the standard layout, essentially, right? It should work.
I think there's another one from Noam. Is this also possible with chain not built with Starport? Was that answered?
Yeah, so if it doesn't work with the chain, it's probably a bug. Sometimes protophiles, even though they're structured, they can use advanced features, or they can be structured slightly differently. So that might become an issue. quite literally. Yeah, exactly, Gjermund. Integrating multiple chains in one app will become easier. And I think that's one very big use case, because we are like going into this we are in the multi-chain world already, right? So every application, almost all applications, can tend to interact with two or more chains, right? You want to provide functionality for Cosmos Hub, for Juno, for Osmosis. So, is there a plan to support protobuf versioning? That's a good question, Ilker.
Yeah, and also it's followed by other Cosmos SDK chains use this format, buff, ATC, buff starport scale doesn't support it. I mean, you mean like some chains you see a buff.yaml file, and in some chains you see a proto-C gen script to generate code from proto, right? So if you are talking about this, starport actually doesn't depend on either buff or any other script. I mean, by the nature of starport, it is able to analyze the source code by itself, and it will do the code generation by itself without relying on third-party tools like this. But of course, we have, for example, proto-C embedded inside starport, and Node.js runtime embedded inside starport to actually do all these code generations. So yeah, I mean, as a user, you don't need to install anything, as long as you just define your needs inside the config YAML, or use the flags in the generate command, describe what you need, they will do the proper code generation. And about protobuf versioning, I mean, if you just comply whatever versioning you are doing, basically you will be reading your proto files in your source code and do code generation. Depending on that, it's totally up to you to follow protobuf versioning or not. We support all the cases. You can have a model with different versions where you separate these versions in the folder level, or you can have messages in proto messages with different versions. It really doesn't matter to us. We will do the code generation, and you will be able to see the generated code for all these models and all these different versions for the models if you have in different directories. Yeah. I hope this answers the question, John, and if you have more questions, please ask. Yeah, Gjermund, what about chains that use CosmWasm? If you have a CosmWasm imported in your chain, it's a model, right? We basically do code generation for all the models that you import in your chain. And yeah, I'm not sure if this answers your question. Maybe if you want to elaborate on that.
I think the question is about generating clients for contracts. We're not doing that right now. We're focused on Cosmos SDK development. So other teams are focusing on CosmWasm, but in the future, yeah, we're making sure that Cosmos SDK developers have the best tools available. Also, just to kind of add to the previous answer, we started working on Starport before Buff was available as a library, so it wasn't possible for us to make Buff part of the binary. And since installing Proto-C manually is very time-consuming and error-prone, we decided that we want to bundle all the dependencies with the binary, and that wasn't possible with Buff. Okay, another question. I'm new to Cosmos, working on an app for data that needs to be stored like in a JSON struct, but I've managed to store it in a multi-store. But when I tried to update, I couldn't find functions for that. I have to get the data first, then modify and have set that again. Is there a way to update data in the store? Okay, I don't know, is Lucas on the call?
Yeah, maybe it's better if we follow up on this on Discord. and if you can share your blockchain, if it is public, that could also help.
Basically, I mean, as far as I remember, since the store is a key value store, right? You can't update part of the value, right? You always rewrite the whole value. So I don't think there is a way to update a part of the value, and that kind of affects the way you architect your store, right? You don't want to store big blobs as values because every time they're updated, you kind of have to overwrite them. So I mean, it takes more compute power to do that. Any other questions about code generation or the CLI?
Looks like we've gotten all the questions answered.
Awesome.
Yeah. Anyone?
Well, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I spoke too soon. There's one more. I think.
Docs for the view components. Yeah, we don't have docs yet because we've essentially took everything we had and kind of replaced all of this, and we're in the process of replacing. Shameless plug, we're also in the process of finding a technical writer. So if you're interested, please visit ignt.com and apply if you know anyone who would like to work as a technical writer. But yeah, once we have the template and especially code generation finalized, we'll likely write a tutorial to build a blog, basically, right? So it's a very simple example where we just going to show how to use the generated code to submit a message and read the data back.
Now,
also,
I would just point out to our Discord server. Let me get the link.
it's it's in our link tree that Barry's been sharing. So all of our Starport, she did an amazing job consolidating all the many links. So if you go there, you can find it. And then it looks like Corey, great to have you here from Source Protocol. That's also nice. Yeah, and if you guys feel free to share your projects with us so we can get to know more who's working on Starport and who's involved in the community. Yes, there will be a recording. We will be getting that up in the next couple of days. We've been predominantly focused on the Central Eastern Standard Time for these community calls, but if you guys get on Discord and other people have other times that are easier, please let us know so we can maybe try and mix and match and get more coverage for the Starport community. So. All right.
Okay, awesome. Thanks everyone for participating, for great questions, and yeah, see you on Discord and GitHub.
Yeah, and see you on the next call. End of April. Thanks, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.